I have zero problems with homosexuality, gay marriage, zero problem with that. I'm from Quebec. I do wonder if Gavin Newsom and Justin Trudeau are not hot for each other. There would be nothing wrong with that. It would just explain away a lot of their contempt for humankind. Like birds of feather flock together, and demon worshippers worship Satan together. Justin Trudeau donating our protective equipment in COVID to China, his beloved communist dictatorship, in the month before COVID hitting, very similar to Gavin Newsom donating their firefighting equipment to Ukraine in the years leading up to this absolute cataclysmic disaster. And that video, hold on. Okay, before we go, everyone get your butts on over at 1775coffee.com, promo code VIVA. Before we go over there, I got to find one video. It's Trudeau and Newsom. It's going to make you puke. I remember it made me want to puke. Call them both pig vomit now. Let's see. They were doing a press conference together. There it is. Ruben posted it. I knew that. Look at this, guys. Hold on. Okay. Yep, we're good. This is it. Oh, God. You look at them, and you tell me they're both not disgusting satanic demons of the same order of hell.
Hey, I'm Justin Trudeau, and I'm so excited to be here because I'm in California with another lizard person. He's a lizard person just like me, and I'm here with him in California, which he's turned into a communist shithole, just like I'm trying to do to Canada. We're both World Economic Forum stooges, but we have really nice suits. Look at our suits. And look at his hair. I just love him so much. Oh, look at him. Look at you. I'm Gavin Newsom. Look at me. I smile when I'm talking. So people think I'm a nice guy, but actually I eat babies. Yes, I do. I love them. They're delicious, and I'm always eating them. And then I use their blood as gel in my hair. It's very exciting for a guy like me. And I'm very happy to be here with Justin Trudeau, who is so evil that makes me look like a good man. Yes, isn't it true, Justin? Yes, it is true. Yo, you're just so cute. I just love you so much. Think about all of the people we could lock in their homes and freeze their bank accounts. It's very exciting for both of us. I'm so happy about it. Aren't you happy about it, Gav? It's just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Love it.
I can't find the original. I can find a Dave Rubin's voiceover. Is this it? Let me see if I can just... Okay, good. I got the original. Let me just get to the original. All I've got is Rubin's voiceover. Here. This is the one. Here. Listen to this. I won't play the whole thing for sake
Everyone,
of
bonjour tout le monde.
Bonjour tout le
I'm
monde.
in California today with Governor Newsom. We're signing an agreement to make sure we continue the deep partnership we've had on fighting climate change, on protecting our environment, in creating good green jobs, and moving forward in ways that really matter to people.
It's a great pleasure to work with him. It's such a great pleasure to work with California and concerns that are of concern to both of us.
Governor Newsom, talk about this partnership.
I am actually going to play this out right now because the original audio might be even more damning now than it was in the time. Green initiatives. Well, California ain't green right now.
Désolé, je ne parle français. To speak the same language, to understand that we're all in...
Il ne parle pas français. He doesn't speak French, but he sure as hell eats at the French Laundry.
Together, divorce is not an option. And so we're here on the issue that extends, I think, a global consciousness, and that's the issue of climate change. And you're in a state where we're experiencing the extremes. And so we're on the leading and cutting edge of not only dealing with the realities of it, but also the opportunities. And that's why it's so wonderful to have you down here, Prime Minister, to focus on those partnerships and the opportunity advance together.
We only build a better world if we're doing it together, and gathering like-minded partners like California and Governor Newsom is the way that we make this better future a reality for everyone.
I'm happy with all the work we're doing. We're going to continue doing it. Together, we move forward. Look at those faces.
Everyone, bonjour.
No, we've had enough. Thank you. It's what's that? When you're updating your computer and it takes like forever. You're like, oh shit, it's been 24 hours. Let me go see what the progress is. We're at 12% update. It was at 11% yesterday. There's Parkinson's law of mundanity, where you can first of all, there's let me bring this up. You've heard it. I talk about it a lot. They're worthwhile principles knowing. Not Parkinson as in Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's law of the economist. And he said there's the two principles that always stuck with me. Parkinson's law of mundanity is, which one is it? Whatever, there's two of them. One of which is, the principle is, the time it takes to accomplish the task will expand to fit the time you have to accomplish the task. So if you've got an hour to mail a letter, it'll take you an hour to mail the letter. You got to go to the post office, get the envelope, get the stamp, write the address, yada, yada, yada. You got 1 minute to write a letter, bam, it's going to be done in a minute. So the time it takes to complete a task will expand to fit the time you have to complete that task. And the other one, Parkinson's law and mundanity, the simpler the issue, the more people are going to opine on solutions to it. the more complex, the less anybody's going to have to say about it. How do you solve complex problems? Who the hell knows? Where do you put the water cooler in an office place? Everybody's got an opinion. You can talk about it for an hour at the shareholder meeting. I'm going to start another one. It's going to be called like the Parkinson's law of failures. I'll call it the Viva's law. That sounds too negative. The Viva's law on failure coping. That is to say, and it's an old tactic. It's just like, you highlight the good and then you get to the hard stuff. So it's great. Gavin Newsom is highlighting the fact that the Kenneth fire, which was, from what I understand, the smallest of the fires, is 100% contained. Good for you. Good for you. They had water there. The Sunset fire, also pretty small. From what I understand, these fires go in ascending order of acreage surface area. And so it's great. Celebrate the fact that you put out the dumpster fire in the back of the building when Palisades is burning to the ground and it's been a week and it's now 14% contained because they still don't have water, which we're going to get to in a second. So we're going to call it Viva's law of loser compensation. Highlight the, hey, you got 100% contained there. Good for you, Gavin. Another he's got 3 fires at 100% containment. The Hearst fire is at 89%. That's virtually contained. And the Eaton fire, which is also the second biggest, and the Palisades. We got problems. They're not contained at all. But we're doing our job because we got 3 of those firefights contained. I have to see, it was Karen Bass this morning who put out a tweet with an update. So remember those numbers? Karen Bass had a husband. Okay, Karen Bass puts out a tweet this morning with her updates. Here you go, look at this. I'm mildly encouraged that the 3 that were 100% contained are still. Oh no, they're not. Now Hearst, which was 100% contained, is now down to 95% contained. Where's the Easton fire? I have to get that one in a second. And the Palisades fire, we're now a day after or 2 days later than Gavin Newsom's, is only 14% contained. Oh my goodness. So it seems that they've actually downgraded their containment of one of the fires that they had at 100%, and who knows where that goes. Yeah, let's bring this over here. Alex Jones. Alex Jones is looking younger and younger the older he gets. It's an amazing thing. So we're going to go back down the Twitter rabbit hole here. Gavin Newsom, as the header for today's show indicates, instead of fighting fire, is fighting Elon. And he posted this video, and I approach everything with an open mind and the requisite degree of skepticism, regardless of who it is. Gavin Newsom posts this and says, Elon Musk, these idiots think you put the period in it and it'll improve the algorithm. How about you just use a word? Here's a video of Elon Musk exposed by firefighters for his own lies. And that way you don't have to start with a period thinking you're gaming the system. But whatever. Okay. I'm critical of Gavin Newsom. I'm sure a lot of people I like do the same thing. This is what he posts. The caption is, he's exposed by firefighters for his own lies. So I was like, oh, interesting. Shit. If Elon lies, I want to know. Watch this.
So, all right. What about water availability? Was water availability? I understand that was like not an issue in Malibu. Is that correct?
Was it water?
Yeah.
Water availability.
So there was water. We have several reservoirs that casinos we use a lot.
There was water. That wasn't my question. My question was water availability. Well, there was water. Was there adequate water availability? Well, there was water. Yeah, there's water. There's also water at the ocean. Was there a problem with water availability? Thus far, I'm hearing what sounds like a child trying to tap dance around the fact that they just broke the vase.
Now, just an example. If we have one building burning, we could flow 1,000 gallons a minute on that one building with the hose lays that we put in.
1,000 gallons a minute.
You can imagine 1,000 gallons per house. We couldn't do, right? So the amount of water we're flowing, there really is no water system that's going to keep that pace. So we have to bring in water tenders, which are these big tank water tanks that 2,500, 3,000 gallon trucks.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, if I were cross-examining somebody, I know Elon is more polite and he's dealing with people who are in fact risking their lives to fight this as a result of the incompetence of their elected officials. And I'm not blaming the firefighters for the crisis. And this guy, you can't expect him to throw his superiors under the bus because he'll get fired. But if I were cross-examining someone, I would say, stop. Do you remember my initial question? Is water availability an issue? You're going into a whole song and dance about things. Like, it's almost like the methinks he doth protest. Methinks he doth distracteth too much. Was there an issue with water availability? We're now 42 seconds in and don't yet have an answer.
They'll come in, and that's what we have to do to compensate. So they park out there, do it.
You have to do that to compensate. Means there's a water availability problem, does it? No?
UTP did a great job. They brought in big water trucks for us, and we use them as basically mobile hydrants.
All right.
Right. And then we have our own agency as well that has water tenders.
Okay.
Can you answer?
My understanding is that like along the, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, along in Malibu along the coast, there was no shortage of water. In the Palisades, there was a shortage of water at a certain point. or is that not accurate?
Well, we were flowing just an amount of water that the system couldn't overbear. That was overbearing.
We were flowing an amount of water that the system couldn't. It was overbearing. So the answer is yes. There was water availability issues.
Just because of how much water these firefighters were utilizing.
Okay.
Utilizing.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, guys.
And I'm not trying to be a jackass. What Elon Musk lies have been exposed? Yeah, we couldn't. We're using more water than we had available, partially because what's the name of the reservoir that was empty because it was under construction in Palisades. So Gavin Newsom, this scumbag, does this have a community note on it yet?
All right. What about
says that his lies are exposed, and I don't see it. And I'm wondering if anybody in the chat sees it. I don't see it. In fact, what I see is that they're specifically pussyfooting around the fact that they did not have adequate water. It couldn't accommodate the need that we had. Yeah, because you had, what was it, 3 1 million gallon reservoirs, and if you're flowing, what was it, 1,000 gallons an hour? Was it 1,000 gallons an hour? The numbers was 1,000. Okay, for one house, to put out one house, you don't have enough water. That's 3 million gallons of water in the 3 reservoirs, where you had a 117 million gallon reservoir that was empty. So necessarily you couldn't manage the demand because you didn't have the water because there were water availability issues. Santa Ynez, thank you very much. Am I crazy, or does that video not debunk anything? It was 1,000 gallons a minute. 1,000 gallons a minute. That gives you 1,000 minutes if you have 1 million gallons. Hey Siri, how many hours are in 1,000 minutes? That gives you 16 hours. 1 million gallons of water is gone in 16 hours. So I don't hear how anything in that, what was revealed, contradicts Elon's assertions, whatever they were. And it sure as hell condemns Gavin Newsom, because you're right, 1 million gallons is going to go fast. 117 million gallons, less fast. 117 million gallons, you can do the math now. You'll get whatever that is. It's about 20 times, 40 times? 40 times 16. And then, by the way, if you put the fire out, then you need less water to put it out because it's not always critical. The Santa Ynez Reservoir, 117 million gallon capacity, was empty because they were fixing the cloth cover on it to prevent like bird poop and stuff and dirt from getting in the water. And then they're saying, well, it exceeded our capacity because we only had 3 1 million gallon reserves. Why didn't Malibu have a problem? I'm not sure. Chad will probably know. I cannot get over the fact that there are currently people still on Twitter defending Gavin Newsom and the work that he's doing. And continuing. There's nothing wrong with politicizing things that are the result of political failures. Politicizing it to spin from the actual culprits to use it as an attack on Trump is atrocious. Alex Jones is, like I say, he's getting younger the older he gets, which I think is a sign of a righteous spirit, much like Donald Trump. Here, let's put this up here. I'll play a clip. It's an interesting segment. And Alex I think this is Texas, is showing the beauty of Texas and probably highlighting the differences in policy between states that do it right and states that don't do it right. Here,
the Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, passed decades and decades ago and since radically expanded, follows the United Nations global policies and treaties on environmental management. And it does not allow government, private individuals, you name it, to be able to remove dead trees and brush. You just type in CEQA,
I'm going to show
California, and you can go read the regulations that are just expanded of a law, again, passed in California several decades ago. And there are tens of millions of dead trees estimated by the state government of California that are dead, and their branches and just piles of fuel kindling everywhere. And that is what the fire department have said. That's what the mitigation experts have said. The insurance companies in the last few years have been pulling insurance coverage in the state. It intensified just a few months ago ahead of the historic fires in Los Angeles. And so Elon Musk gets on a plane and goes out to LA yesterday to make sure all the Cybertrucks and Starlink are getting set up and delivered to bring internet and supplies.
And people are somehow still faulting Elon Musk for not doing enough to bail out Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass and Kristen whatever from the consequences of their own criminal negligence. They're faulting Elon Musk.
And he goes and talks to the fire department, and they say, we don't know what caused the fire, and we're not going to talk about why the water ran out. We were just using so much. It's political. They'll all lose their jobs. We know they drained the main 117 million gallon.
Drained it or allowed it not to retain liquid water because they were fixing the cloth cover, which was a small job that was started a year ago.
Reservoir above the Palisades that was built, again, many, many years ago to supply the fire department during an emergency fire. So if you don't cut out all of that dead wood that's there, and by the way, the firefighters say to Musk, oh, there's not been fires in this area for 60 years. And they admit it's just piles of dead wood. And so then you leave the power lines on. When these big winds come in, it blows down the power lines.
And then when you shut the power lines down, they say that, well, the generators can't push the water. I mean, I'm not mad at Alex. Their excuses are a big circle of stupidity. Well, the power lines got blown down. They start the fire, so we better cut the power lines. But when we cut the power lines, well, then the generators don't work to push the water to maintain adequate water pressure. I mean, it's not incompetence because it was foreseeable. It's criminal negligence.
Because the trees fall on it, and then you have the fire starting, and we have the videos all over.
And then you have
place
arson
in LA when that started in the Palisades 7 days ago, and that's what started the fires. So Newsom can play dumb. They can all play dumb. The firefighters aren't going to accuse their bosses of anything. They'll lose their jobs. That's what's happening. This was deliberate criminal negligence.
Testify. And do we all agree that Alex Jones is looking younger now than he's ever looked in his life? I think so. Criminal negligence is what it is. I'm getting some text messages. It's amazing how the catastrophe exposes the various levels of incompetence, various levels of just negligence, and they all become, oh well, shit, we couldn't stop the forest fires because they got started, so we cut the power lines, but then the power lines didn't allow the water that wasn't there in the first place to flow with adequate pressure, and we were understaffed because we had to fire a bunch of staff because of COVID restrictions, and we didn't have enough equipment, but it doesn't really matter because we didn't have enough staff to man the equipment because we had given the equipment to Ukraine, and holy shit, it all just culminates with catastrophic loss of property, and at this point also entering the catastrophic loss of life. And this is where, like I say, keep tweeting, Gavin. Keep tweeting, Gavin, because you don't seem to be smart enough to even know when you are tweeting out incriminating evidence that would substantiate the lack of foresight, or at least the advanced knowledge of the potential problems. This is an actual tweet from Gavin Newsom, and it says the National Weather Service has issued, quote, particularly dangerous situation, end quote, warnings 4 times in the last 3 months. Let me read that again because some of you might be saying, oh, you got 4 warnings in the last 3 months? The National Weather Service has issued particularly dangerous situation warnings 4 times in the last 3 months. The first preceded the mountain fire Ventura, 243 structures destroyed. The second preceded the Franklin fire Malibu, 20 structures destroyed. The third preceded the Palisades and Eaton fires, thousands of homes gone as we continue to battle blazes. The fourth starts tomorrow. Do you understand? I mean, I want other people in the chat also to tell me if I think I'm, getting too smart, like as in thinking this is smarter than it is. He's announcing to the world, and it's there now for all to see forever, that he's admitting that they have received 3 warnings in the last 4 months, or was it 4 warnings in the last 3 months? The first warning resulted in 250 structures being destroyed. So they got one warning 4 months ago, property damage. And what do they do about it? Apparently jack shit. They get a second warning. I don't know when the timeline is. Destroyed 20 structures. What do they do about it? Apparently jack shit. They didn't even start thinking, maybe we should start filling the reservoir just in case we got a really bad one. And then they got the third one. And now it's up to 15,000 structures burnt. Am I wrong, or is this not evidence of not forethought, but advanced knowledge, advanced awareness of the inherent risk in real time, proximate to the disaster, and not proximate enough that they couldn't have done anything? It's not like if they were issued, maybe they were issued within the same day or two. I don't think so. Let me see this. Mountain fire, Ventura. When was the mountain fire in Ventura? Ventura. The mountain fire in Ventura was on November 6, 2024. So in November, December, January, nearly 3 months ago, they got a warning. When was the Franklin fire? The Franklin fire was on December 9th, 2024. So they got a warning in November, fire destruction. They got a warning in December, fire destruction. They got a warning in January, fire mass destruction. And these jackasses didn't even think twice to make sure the reservoir had started collecting water, if it was even possible within that time frame. Jail, straight up jail. And I don't think that I'm overblowing it. I think that's evidence of advanced knowledge of cataclysmic risk for which they did jack squat.